My name is Colby Novak, and I'm the AV teacher here at Waller High School in the great city of Waller, Texas. I also own a company, believe it or not. I have owned High Velocity Productions for over 10 years now, and we have served the greater Houston area and also the United States of America, serving anything from motorsports to weddings. We've done movies. Anything you can imagine, I have kind of put my hands into that world, well, at least in the media space. The goal, actually the main goal when I started teaching, 3 years ago, was to bring real world experiences into the classroom. I think I've been pretty successful with that. And this year we were actually able to do something really cool. I was able to bring my students along for the ride to Circuit of the Americas, and we were able to do film a whole entire race for Porsche Motorspots North America. And it's actually incredible that these students were even able to do this. They were allowed to do this because most companies don't just let high schoolers do something super important like film an entire race on their own with basically no supervision. But Porsche Motorsports North America, being the great client that they are, allowed my students to attend a race, film a race, and get the whole career-changing, life-changing experience at Circuit of the Americas for the 6-hour Porsche Endurance Challenge.
Growing up, my mom and my dad never had an education. They grew up in Mexico, and bringing me here to America really made them excited because they saw me studying as an opportunity. School is a great thing. It's a great opportunity that we all have, and they came with the hopes and dreams that me and my siblings would go to college, get our degrees, and become successful people and not have to work for hours on end like they do. Going to CODA this weekend really gave me an opportunity to not only show myself, but my parents that this can really get me somewhere.
In almost every job, you're working as a company, as a group, how something you do will benefit everybody.
We really all had to count on each other because if one of us screwed up, the whole thing was gonna be messed up. So it was mostly trusting all the people you were with and counting on, those people are gonna do the best of their ability and that you gotta do your best too with them.
It's an experience that you can never get in the classroom. It's just impossible to create. A racetrack with tens of cars going down for 6 hours straight. In creative work and filmmaking, success and opportunity is very much driven in what you're able to do and what you have done, not necessarily what a piece of paper says you might be able to do or what a classroom dictates that you know how to do now because you learned it on a piece of paper. Is very much experience-based and portfolio-based.
And I think every student knew exactly what the stakes were. They knew that there's a bunch of very high up people that can really help them in their careers after high school. Like, they are watching, I'm watching, their parents are watching, all these people are watching. Yes, it may not be the Super Bowl, but there's very little room for mistakes. And when I stuck them in that environment, those students grew so much. Like, every one of them have told me, hey, that was such a cool experience. I believe in myself more. I can do things that I never thought were possible, and I actually just did it.
The process of recovering a course should not be as available as it is and how easy it is, because the other thing is you can fail a course and you can retake it, but the retaking process, more often than not, isn't really retaking the course. It's like doing some portion of the coursework, mostly unsupervised, where you can really just kind of do it however you want to. You're not actually learning anything. So you should make it clear that not doing what you're supposed to do in life, or not doing what you're supposed to do in whatever class or whatever job, has real world consequences, and you can't just do it over again, because that's not how life works. And like this weekend with CODA, it was very much a think on your feet thing. If you messed up, you don't get another shot to redo it again, so you have to think on your feet, and you have to realize that the world has consequences. If you don't thrive to do what you know you need to do in whatever you're doing, the world will run you over and it won't apologize.
To be frank, I'm more of a hands-on person. I think that more a technical route is a lot easier and a lot more feasible with a lot of students.
What we're currently having is, in the shop, these kids are going to be doing absolute real world scenario. All their grades are going to be hands-on. Their grades are going to be brought into us from local businesses and industries in our community. They're going to bring us with projects, and so our kids are actually going to get an opportunity to practice making and building things that they would later on be able to be paid for right after high school.
I mean, you learn by doing, right? And so I can sit and talk theory all day long, but it's not going to land unless you get your hands on the computer or you get your hands with a client and you learn kind of on the field. That's where you really get your real world experiences.
I think academic tests are great. Like for reading, writing, math, science, all that, you kind of need to have a written test to show that you've actually learned anything and that you've retained that knowledge. But what schools are trying to do right now is incorporate that same idea into all these CTE things. So Mr. Novak has to give a test for his final. He has to give a written test. Like that's part of the rules. But that's not the best way that students will learn in a film like setting. The best way a film student can learn film is by shooting a film.
Your classes should be based upon what you want to pursue.
Creative classes, these teachers have like really shown how the work we can do will be successful outside of the classroom.
The Porsche experience, they were prepared correctly, 110%. I knew they weren't going to fail. That whole experience was to prove to them that they could do it, because all the staff and everybody in the school have tried their best to prepare our students for the real world. And at the end of the day, it's not a student-teacher failure, it's a systematic failure.